America loves a comeback story, especially when it's on four wheels. Over the last 20 years, Ford, Dodge, and Chevy proved one thing. Bring back a legendary nameplate, build it right, and the crowd goes wild. But what about the icons we lost? The American brands that disappeared, yet their cars still live rent-free in our heads. Today, we're looking at 10 forgotten American legends that absolutely deserve a comeback ASAP. These were cars with personality, with noise, with attitude, and with today's tech, they could be even better. Let's jump into the machines America needs back on the road. AMC AMX. The AMX was Detroit mischief in a two-seat shell. Short wheelbase, big lungs, and no back seat to save the luggage or your friends. The 390 made stout power for its day, and the whole car felt like it couldn't wait to pick a fight with a corner. AMC kept the weight reasonable, and the thing looked mean, especially with the Go package. Think small block attitude with a Track Toys footprint. A reboot that chases feel over fluff makes the most sense. Aluminum and composites could keep mass in check, while a twin-turbo 3.0 with around 400 HP could fit the punch-to-weight brief. With a proper limited slip, quick steering, and alignment ranges that allow serious negative camber, the chassis turns adjustable and honest. Big brakes with real ducting, small screens, clear gauges, and perfect pedals round it out. Narrow scope, sharp edges. That's AMX energy without shouting. Studebaker Avanti. The Avanti was a design thesis that actually went fast. Fiberglass body, clean nose, early front discs, and an optional Paxton Huffed V8 that punched above its weight. The shape still looks fresh because it wasn't trying to copy anything. No grille, long hood, glassy greenhouse, elegant and a little strange in the best way. We love it, honestly. As a long-legged GT, the Avanti idea still clicks. Two routes rise to the top. A dual-motor EV with roughly 500 HP on an 800-volt system for quick charging, or a slick plug-in hybrid that loafs on electrons and hammers with a turbo V6 plus e-boost. Long wheelbase, low cowl, an arrow that earns its drag number would serve either path. Inside, fewer screens and better touch points, metal toggles, tight panel gaps, and seats that reward long nights, all retaining the maximum possible amount of physical buttons. Plymouth Barracuda. The Barracuda hit first. Plymouth's fastback arrived in 1964, 2 weeks before Mustang. Most remember the 1970 to 1974 E-body Cuda, which could take a 426 Hemi with a shaker hood and deliver near supercar straight-line speed for the era. Big block and small block V8s, pistol grip shifters, and stout rear ends defined the car. It raced in Trans Am and starred in countless garages. It also had a chassis that begged for better tires and modern damping. In modern clothes, Barracuda reads as a purist's RWD coupe with options that match different tastes. A naturally aspirated V8 that spins past 7,000 would be our choice, but a twin-turbo 6 with a fat torque curve might be better for daily duty. The driver position needs to be near the rear axle, while a square tire setup for balance and a track pack with real coolers and 200 treadwear rubber would set the tone. Factory-developed Mopar parts, coilovers that work, arrow that adds downforce, and a precise short throw would be a cool addition. Packard Caribbean. The Packard Caribbean was a luxury flagship with real engineering pride. Mid-1950s cars carried the big Packard V8, up to 374 cubic inches and around 310 to 340 HP. Paired with the Ultramatic transmission. The game changer was Packard's torsion-level suspension, a self-leveling, interconnected torsion bar system that gave a glass-smooth ride and composed handling. The Caribbean also showcased layered paint, rich interiors, and restrained elegance. It was quiet, quick, and dignified. There is a hole in the American market for a true homegrown luxury halo that is not overtly sporty or brash. An electric, long-wheelbase sedan seems to fit the Caribbean brief without twisting the brand's soul. Range in the 300s, air springs with a wide bandwidth, and vault-level NVH set the baseline. Add dual or tri-motor torque that gives silent thrust, and you have a modern cruiser to conquer the best from Lucid and the likes. The cabin here needs to lean into craft over gimmicks, real metal, open-pore wood, and tactile controls where hands actually go. DeLorean DMC-12. This iconic movie car tends to get a lot of hate in enthusiast circles, but under all that stainless steel was a fascinating idea. The DMC-12 used a rear-mounted Renault-sourced 2.85-liter V6, around 130 to 150 HP in period, a 5-speed manual or 3-speed auto, and a Lotus-tuned backbone chassis with composite underbody. Gull-wing doors and brushed steel made it a rolling spaceship. The car needed more power and less weight, but the bones were right. Mid-engine handling feel, an emphasis on materials, and an identity no other coupe could touch. A proper return would keep the doors, the steel look, and the engine behind the seats, but fix the performance. A compact plug-in layout cleans up the old sins without muting the grin. The gull-wing doors and brushed steel vibe probably need to stay, but paired with a 2-liter turbo driving the rear wheels and a strong front E-motor for instant shove. A curb weight under roughly 3,600 pounds, bonded aluminum and molded composites would keep responses crisp. Well, that might seem a bit too advanced for the DMC-12, but hey, that exterior still screams high-tech, right? Pontiac Firebird. The Camaro's lawyerly sibling? Never. Firebird was the hothead. Ram air packages, WS6 chassis bits, screaming chicken decals on hoods that actually moved air. Last-gen LS1 cars felt rowdy out of the box and turned wicked with a few bolt-ons. The stance, the dash, the shaker, wild but somehow cohesive. If you ask us, a naturally aspirated V8 with a manual would provide the heartbeat, while a Trans Am spec would widen the track, add functional aero, and bring in serious cooling. An Esprit-style EV trim could land quiet speed and long range without losing the silhouette, though that might be a bit too much for the purists. Inside, rally gauge nods meet cleaner ergonomics and better sightlines. A chassis that accepts a square setup and offers real camber adjustment makes it friendly to track rats and canyon regulars alike. Mercury Marauder. Mercury's Marauder gave full-sized muscle a late-model encore in 2003-2004. It took the Panther chassis, dropped in a 4.6-liter DOHC V8, 302 horsepower, fitted 3.55 gears with a limited slip, and rolled on 18-inch wheels with performance rubber. It offered 4 doors, a huge trunk, and a straight-pipe attitude. It was a sleeper with police car toughness and real presence. Owners still mobbed them with superchargers and cams for easy, durable power. Today, the market is short on honest V8-powered rear-drive sedans. The template isn't complicated. A rear-drive V8 sedan around 450 horsepower, a 10-speed with smart mapping and police-grade cooling. A performance hybrid layer adds a rear E-axle for silent creep and brutal launches, pushing combined output north of 550 without ruining range. Yes, it kinda kills the old-school formula, but helps the sedans survive in the new era. Low stance, dark paints, and brakes sized for abuse could be in the range to keep the character intact. Saturn Sky. Saturn shocked everyone with the Sky in 2006, finally adding the fun car enthusiasts wanted to its stables. Sure, the Kappa platform roadster shared bones and engine with the Pontiac Solstice, but it wore sharper lines. The 2.0-liter turbo LNF under the hood made 260 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, but its curb weight of just over 3,000 pounds, combined with a short wheelbase and a standard manual, made it eager and playful. The Redline models responded well to tunes and cooling upgrades, turning them into giant killers on tight tracks. For its successor, we imagine a 2.0-liter turbo making around 300 horsepower with a 6-speed manual, and another one that runs a single-motor EV with 300-plus miles and a curb weight that still starts with a 3. Aluminum subframes, a composite trunk lid, and a top that doesn't eat the cargo area are needed to keep the overall concept friendly. A real LSD, damping for imperfect pavement, and pricing that leaves budget for tires would make it the forum favorite all over again. Eagle Talon. The Eagle Talon was the poster child for turbo fixes everything. Turbo G463 AWD, viscous diffs, and a chassis that took power and track days like a champ, once cooling and bushings were handled. Rain, snow, dirt, it just hooked up and went. The tuning scene never died, but the cars did. Picture a rally road coupe with modern torque tricks, a hybridized 2.0-liter turbo, integrated starter generator up front, and an E-axle in back lands 350 to 380 horsepower and a sub 4.5 second 0 to 60 miles per hour with repeatability. A base turbo FWD could keep a manual for the purists, while the hybrid could lean on a dual clutch for crisp hits for those looking for better track times. Hatchback practicality, split-fold rears, and big-mouth cooling could make track nights and road trip weekends easy. Oldsmobile Toronado. In 1966, the Toronado brought American front-wheel drive to the big power party. Under that crisp body sat a 425cc V8 with around 385 horsepower and a chain-driven TH425 transaxle. The floor stayed flat, the packaging was clever, and the steering felt surprisingly precise for a big coupe. Later cars softened, but the original idea, innovative packaging and torque for days, was bold. It proved Detroit could rethink the layout and deliver something new. We hate to say it, but electrons seem to suit the original mission here. In our heads, long hood proportions meet dual-motor AWD with 500 to 600 horsepower, natural-feeling one-pedal, and honest aero for highway range. Also, how about a W34 pack with bigger brakes, added cooling, stickier rubber, and firmer damping for those looking for something hardcore? The cabin, meanwhile, needs to stay calm. Crisp HUD, a few tactile knobs, great seats, and road noise dialed down to a hush. Layout pioneer then, serenity at speed now.